everything on the market today?
James, it was such a slow day. About $3 billion worth of stock being traded. We're in the middle of school holidays at the moment, and there's not too much going on in terms of market volumes. It was, however, the third consecutive day of losses for the Aussie market now. We've seen the market losing 0.4% today. But it was a little bit of a strange one on the Aussie market. We did see the materials and the banking stocks being sold off, and that was mainly what was behind the declines on the market. But we did see some support coming in for the energy as well as the consumer, the staple sectors. There were also a number of companies making new highs on the market, 52-week highs, mostly in that small cap area. In the financial space, we saw Challenger Financial Group and BT Investments continue to make 52-week highs. Kathmandu having a strong performance, also hitting a high today. Nick Scali was another one, as well as Certex Medical. Also, it's worth mentioning some of the New Zealand stocks which are listed on the ASX. Now, the New Zealand market is near all-time highs, and some of those New Zealand stocks are doing extremely well. Kathmandu, of course, on the Aussie market today up by 11.4%. We also saw Fletcher Building gaining 2.1%, and we saw Sky TV up by 2.4%. So some very strong performances there. In terms of market capitalisation, though, it was a bit of a strange one. Usually when we do see risk-off days like this, we see the smaller cap benchmark index underperforming, but that certainly was not the case today. If we have a look at the top 50 index, that was down by 0.5%, so underperforming. The mid cap index, so outperforming with a fall of 0.2%, and we also saw the small ordinaries actually outperforming with a gain of 0.1%. So a little bit of a strange day, but difficult to read too much into it given the very light volume.
Its outlook that does seem to know its market. Certainly Kathmandu, we had their results out today, and my goodness, the share price reaction up over 11% at the close.
It's getting harder and harder to find these companies with good positive earnings momentum, but Kathmandu once again demonstrating some strong growth in its business. We saw a record sales result, a record profit results. Now, part of that is driven by the new stores being rolled out. We saw 16 new stores in the period, so that helped the sales number. And if we have a look at net profit, it was up by 27%. Part of that was distorted due to an intercompany loan and the tax consequences of that, and if you strip out that, it's still a very healthy increase of 18%. Sales were up by almost 11%, but that was really because of the new stores rolling out. In fact, if you have a look at it from a like-for-like basis, on a constant currency basis, we saw sales up by 5.6%. Most of the strength was in Australia. If we have a look at Australia, sales was up by almost 20%. New Zealand was also quite strong with sales up by almost 9%, but the UK continued to be a drag. We actually saw sales negative 12% there. So the UK business we're still watching very closely, and it's probably still about 3 years away from profitability, so still a drag on its business, but the outlook was quite strong. Kathmandu saying that it does expect another good result in 2000 and in the current financial year. So Kathmandu shares doing extremely well. The shares jumping by about 11%, and I think the market is looking for stocks with either good momentum in terms of earnings and in terms of price, or good value that have been beaten down perhaps too severely. And I think in terms of stock picking, they really fall into these two categories. And in Kathmandu, we're seeing some good earnings as well as price momentum.